horses. I don't know, I'll just start, I'll say something.
Yeah, you start.
So today we've got a very special episode, finally. Damon and myself have been able to finally do a video together. I've travelled all the way over from the red centre of Australia, or Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, and now we're on safari here in the deepest, darkest mountain river here in Tasmania. And we're getting ready for another adventure, aren't we, Damon?
Yes, we are.
And what next? Is it next week or?
A weekend away.
Yeah, weekend away. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Damon's been doing a lot of work, as you've seen in our other video, coercing the mighty 202 back into life in the Series 3 here. And what actually goes into planning these adventures, why we do them, and all the rest and more. So if you think this might be of interest, you know what to do. Stay tuned. I guess before we get started, we should talk about our beer of choice. We haven't actually got a fire here today, so we don't have to have cocktails, but when I left Tassie, I believe this was just a pretty common man's beer, but you've told me it's something different. Is that
it's
right?
a bit of a boutique beer now, I suppose you can say. It's quite expensive. It's $50 Australian for a carton of 25, so it's pretty expensive, unfortunately.
And you don't get the dolphin catches with it anymore, don't you?
No, it's all cardboard.
So it's gone soggy because we've put it in Mother Nature's refrigerator, the creek. But anyway, we'll need this for the following video, I think, Damon. And every other four-wheel drive video does it, so why don't we?
Yeah.
There we are.
Oh, thank you.
Nothing like a good cold cappuccino.
And these are only found in Tasmania, exclusive, so...
I've been dying for one.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So what have you been doing on the Series 3, Damon?
Lots. I just wanted to be ready, really, for the upcoming trip. Initially I was just going to change the spark plugs and the leads and just basic stuff, but I just kind of kept taking things off and getting really in depth with it, as you do. Just kept finding things that I wanted to do, so I was just chipping away at it. After work I would just come do a couple of hours on it, and then it's gone from just doing the basics to changing all the gaskets and all the bolts that it needed replacing. Had all the wings off, as you saw in the other video, and all the other stuff like the springs and the body just did a little bit of a look at and repaint on the chassis where it needed, but otherwise it was just pretty basic things like what else did I do? The carburetor wasn't so basic actually.
But this has sort of all been in because this will be its third trip, so we're gearing up for an Edge of the Earth episode, which we should have mentioned earlier, I guess. But each trip, I guess the Series 3's become slightly more refined, and this is sort of the ultimate reiteration of the Series 3 at this point. Like
the first trip, if you've seen the episodes, you can see how badly timed the vehicle was, because neither of us had any idea about the engine and how it was set up, because we deal with Land Rover engines, not Holden. But
didn't we have it? Because there's 2 points you can set it at top dead centre, or actually at the lowest point of the compression. We actually had it set to that, and surprisingly no conrods came dancing out of the side of the engine block.
Yeah, it was actually timed 180 degrees out from top dead centre, so the number one piston was actually at the bottom of its stroke when it was coming up. So I don't know how it was running, but it was.
Got us all the way from, well, the west coast of Tassie to here, which is about 250, 300 k's.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't blow up. So they're a solid engine. Yeah.
So the carburetor is not the original one at the moment. I took that off another one just because that carburetor has been just fighting me pretty much ever since I started touching it. So the actual fuel mixture screw is inside a plastic bush, and that bush thread has actually just disintegrated, so it's just not operating and adjusting properly, so it's not reliable to bring on our trip. So that would cause issues all along the way. I think 200 metres down the road would probably be stopped. Yeah.
And as you said earlier today, because we've been doing some work on the Series 3, I think if you do over 500 k's, that's when everything is ironed out and goes right.
Yep.
And thank goodness Tassie's a small spot, so we won't be doing 500 k's. So who knows what's going to happen. We've had radiators crack in this car before, and we used the egg and the cracked pepper.
That worked.
Yep. And then the last trip was pretty uneventful. I think we had an exhaust nearly fall off, and that was it. So it's getting easier each time, and we're probably doing more preparation than I think we used to. Because we just get a bit tired of doing 18-hour days fixing Land Rovers and travelling 100 k's.
Yeah, so I have touched the exhaust a little bit. I've replaced the centre box, which imploded or exploded on the last trip. So that's brand new. And so it's got the same tyres. They've done only 3 trips worth of road work, so they're brand new still. So
they're doing good, the Toyota Open Country Mud Terrains.
Oh yeah,
we better do a
awesome.
segue for that. But no, they are a good tyre. Like we've taken it. Done the West Coast. We've done bitumen.
Yeah.
We haven't done snow. I think that's the only thing we haven't done with it.
Snow. Yeah.
Snow.
But we'll have to do a winter trip.
Yeah. We'll have to get the heater working for that.
Haven't got the heater connected for this trip, so transmission heat and radiant heat is good enough, I think. So
definitely,
especially for the passenger.
Yeah.
You get pretty warm legs.
So like the 202 goes pretty good. I think we were sitting on 80 to 90 kilometres last trip, and that was pretty good.
Yeah.
When we had it tuned correctly.
Yeah. It sits on probably 80. I think 80 is probably the safe zone. Oh, actually, I think 70 is probably the safe zone. 80 is probably pushing it. 90 down hill's okay. So with it in neutral, of course. So whatever you can get up to downhill.
That's it.
But yeah, no, it's a good engine. I think it's probably a little bit too much power for the drivetrain.
Yeah.
But you just got to have that mechanical sympathy and not drive it real fast everywhere and just cruise.
Yeah.
And just listen to the engine, really, the revs, the rev range. Make sure it's nice, not too high.
Because it's got so much power, it actually, if you don't work with, motoring, which is really working with the vehicle, you can actually inadvertently slip the clutch quite badly in it, which we found up some of the hills. Instead of changing back a gear, we just labour and forth, and then all of a sudden, the clutch is slipping. You better change back.
Yeah, and that's also I think a kind of it's a good thing and a bad thing, because it kind of takes the strain off the rest of the drivetrain when there's that power there. So we won't be snapping any lay shafts or anything
axles.
like that. Or axles. So.
Yeah.
I think we'll just drive it calmly and get there slowly. Like I do around here, I do fang it around a bit, but I mean I can't get up to even 60 around the farm without doing some big bumps and lumps. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see what the fuel economy's like on it now, seeing as I've done everything ignition wise. The carburetor seems pretty sweet. The carburetor that's on it's actually got an adjustable main jet, which was a aftermarket thing for the Bendix Strongberg carburetor. So it's a single throat carburetor. The main jet's normally fixed, but this one has a needle you can pull in and out to make it richer or leaner if you want. So I think I've got it set up okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure there'll be plenty of moments where we'll be pondering over the engine. But on this trip, luckily we've got some fellow ponderers with us. We've actually got a good friend of ours, George, coming along in his, what is it, late 1970s?
It's 84, I believe.
Is it 84?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't...
I could be wrong. We'll ask George.
We'll be here all day discussing that, so we'll just say it's 84. But it is a two-door Range Rover. I thought they finished them in 1980, but...
I'm probably wrong then.
No, well, what do I know about Range Rovers? So, he's coming along, and that's got the proper 3.5 litre V8. We've then got Will coming along in his 1991 Land. 91. It's the newest in the Convoy.
Yeah.
Land Rover Parenti, and obviously that's got the mighty 3.9 litre 4-cylinder Isuzu diesel in it. So that's going to be interesting too. So we'll have people to obviously ponder with. And that's always very important because sometimes you just can't find the answers on your own. And the terrain that we're going to be tackling is going to be very interesting. The last trip we did the West Coast, which was absolutely stunning. We were lucky.
That was awesome.
Because it rains 364 days of the year, and we got the 2 days, we squeezed in an extra bit of a day of the year where we actually didn't have any rain at all, so that was great. And this trip will have a fuel gauge, so it's getting real fancy because last time we ran out of fuel. Do you remember that? We just drove out of Mount McCall and it stopped. And then we're like, better put the jerry can in.
I forgot about that.
So then we had to try and, because the 202 compared to the 2.25 litre, and the 2.6 for that matter, Rover engine, the 2.25 litre, the 202 and the 2.6 litre Rover engine don't have a lift handle or a way that you can actually prime the fuel pump, so you've got to sit there. So I think we poured a heap down the carburettor and then filled the rest in the tank, and that got us to Queenstown. So big plume of smoke and off we went, so it was great.
I forgot about that. Oh, we must have used a lot of fuel on that track.
Well, that we filled up, and it's is it 65 litre tank or 67? It's
68 point something.
Yeah, it's 16 gallon, isn't it? Yeah. So we filled it up, and that was, I think it's a couple hundred k's.
Must have been.
Yeah. So it loves the juice. That's good.
Well, it is 3.3 litre. So.
That's right. Yeah. It's nearly as big as a V8. You know.
It probably got similar fuel consumption, I reckon.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty inefficient motor if you can set it at top dead centre and at the bottom of the stroke, and it doesn't blow up. So, Oh,
it's just a testament to how strong the engines are, and that's why they've been put in these old cars, old Land Rovers. So it's just such a common thing.
Well, they used to put them in the Tiranas and race them at Bathurst.
Bathurst,
Yeah,
because you can soup them up, and parts are like there's Holden enthusiasts out there that are still mucking around with these engines, so parts are readily available.
Well, you could get the Terra head, which is a high compression head on it too. But anyway, what I was trying to get to 2 minutes ago happens was that we went up the west coast,
Yep.
and that was sort of the main goal of the Edge of the Earth series, was to go from the east coast of Tassie, which is here, right over to the west coast. So we've done that. Instead of doing it in one episode, it took us two. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to tackle the east coast of Tassie. Now the east coast is a lot more built up, for those of you who don't know. It's a lot more populated. But what we're going to do and aim to do is to do majority of the west coast actually on backtracks. So no tarmac, no formed roads. And we're going to be travelling from a sunny, delightful little place called Buckland, and then we're going to be heading right over to the coast to a place called Little Swanport on the Swanston track. And then from there we're going to be tackling a old forestry road known as the M Road, and we'll be heading due north. So we'll pretty much be probably 20-30 k's sort of inland, just following the mountain range that sort of straddles the east coast, and looking into some interesting stuff. Damon's thrilled to know that I'm going to put a little bit of geology in there as always, so get ready for that. I know you're excited about that. We're going to be finding out how a Japanese submarine surfaced right here in Tasmania, or on the coast, and how they also managed to build an aircraft and then actually do reconnaissance of Tasmania, and also go and look for some gold too, so it should be pretty good, hopefully. And hopefully we're not looking for gold, Will's going to look for gold, so he has to find it.
Yeah, we'll be under the landy bonnet probably anyway.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, you know.
Well, one of them. There's three of them.
Well, he's got a Parenti, so if he wants it fixed, maybe we can negotiate a fee. You know, a cut or something like that. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we're going to use some different camera equipment this time too, aren't we, Damon?
Yeah, just some new gear.
Yeah. What new toys have you bought, or have we bought?
Well, we bought. We've got a new drone.
Oh.
We've kind of gone, I think, a little bit smaller in how we operate, just so we don't have to pack as much.
That was sort of after the canning. We sort of, well, you sort of spearheaded that and sort of reassessed what we needed.
Yeah, it's no good bringing like high grade cinema equipment out in the middle of the desert. I think it's just too precious with it, and it's big, clunky, big boxes, and it took up so much room.
Oh, it did. And the biggest problem, and this is what people don't think of, I think, is batteries. You know, the batteries can. What was it with the Red Epic? How much were they worth? They were worth thousands.
Yeah, they're all up. Well, we had 4 batteries, and they were quite a bit, and they were big V-lock batteries, so it takes a lot to power that beast. So it's just not economical, really, in what we were doing. It took a lot of time to charge the batteries, and the cameras you can buy now, like the one that is filming this at the moment, the Panasonic G85, the battery life is awesome. I think you'll agree with that.
Oh, definitely.
And what you get out of it, it's small, compact, and like they're only getting better, really.
So. And the quality that you can get out of it too is, you know, it's just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
And like the Red Epic's a fantastic camera, and you can film on 5K, but realistically you have to think, well, who's actually going to watch it on 5K?
Yeah, that's right.
That's the other problem too. So, we like to call ourselves documentary filmmakers. I do anyway. I don't know what Damon thinks, but we'll go with that. You know, you have to think about your equipment a little bit more, because you need something that's small, that you can actually operate inside a cab of a Land Rover, for example.
Yeah.
With a Land Rover, the door seals do not work. They are there purely for show. So you need something that is dust resistant, heat resistant, and you need, obviously with the batteries too, you need that, you know, that long sort of, I guess, charge life that you're getting out of it too. Because most of these vehicles operate on a 40 amp alternator.
Yeah, not much.
Not much at all. So, you know, with that battery, we were constantly charging batteries all the time.
Plus the fridge, plus all the other things, and We had laptops because we had to do data wrangling to get the day's footage onto a hard drive, and you've got to be really conservative, and so that's why we've kind of not downgraded, I wouldn't say downgraded, just downsized.
Refined. Yeah, downsized and refined. And obviously, as we've mentioned in other update videos, we're gearing up towards a bigger trip, which will be in mid-August of this year, where we're travelling from the Red Centre right down to the Australian Bight. And one of the great things about doing these trips here in Tasmania is we can actually use it as a bit of a test bed for new equipment. So that's going to be really interesting too.
Yeah, I think it'll be good just to flesh everything out and see. Like, obviously it'll be different vehicle and everything. Actually, quite a bit smaller too.
It is, but it's the same year.
Yeah, that's
it is
true.
75.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So this 109 vehicle's got tons of room, doesn't it? It's crazy.
We don't even fill it.
No.
And that's with the beer too, just to clarify. Yeah.
Like, you'd look inside and you'd think we're just going away for a weekend. But you're looking when we go in WA and on the mainland, it's like we're going for months, and sometimes we are.
Well, that's right. Well, we will with the Dust and Dreams, we're calling it, but we might refine that title. I don't know. But we'll be away for a month, so we've got to carry, most of our provisions, most of the fuel, most of the water.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at things a bit differently. But one of the things I sort of touched on in the Golden Quest episode, and Damon and I touched about it too, where I looked at the Great Western Woodlands, is it's nice to get back to basics, and that's what we're going to be doing here.
Yeah.
We don't have fancy Max tracks, Kyle tracks, containers or anything like that. We use, I think, are they 1960s vintage apple crates that we use?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah, the best of the 60s. So it's nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's got me done. But you keep going, Damon, if you want.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on getting this far through the video, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. We've obviously got a fantastic adventure ahead of us. Thank you very much to our Patreon supporters, our supporters on YouTube, and obviously to Toyo Tyres and Icom, who help out with providing the Edge of the Earth series for you and the greater public. And we'll give you a few more updates along the way. Does that sound alright, Damon?
I think so. Yeah, there's plenty more to happen in Tassie, so...
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a compact little island. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please click on that subscribe button, click on the notification button too. That way you don't miss out on one single video. And look, take the time, check us out on Patreon by clicking on the Patreon icon at the top right hand corner of your screen. Anyway, we'll see you in our next video.